And welcome back to DeathStryke Media's Force Friday show. It is Revenge of the 5th. It is Friday. We are talking the dark versions of Star Wars, all the Sith stuff, maybe. I am James Waddington. I am joined today by James Armstrong at the very end of He came back from the Outer Rim yet again. He keeps going out there, maybe find some cool stuff. We've got Sean Sharp here today with us as well, as per usual. I'm going to start this out. How are you doing today, Sean?
Better than I deserve,
All right.
as usual. Yes, better than I deserve.
The catchphrase continues.
Exactly. How about you, James?
Doing well, yeah. I was sorry to be back on the Outer Rim last week. I had some vehicle issues and was kind of light
The
of
Falcon
funds.
go down on you again?
The Falcon went down again, but luckily I was able to win some extra money on a pod race that I bet on and was able to get the vehicle all fixed up.
Oh, see?
So carjacking is what you're calling pod racing these days.
Your words, not mine.
How about you, James?
I've been pretty good. I've been busy. We've got some stuff to do today. Of course, yesterday was May the 4th, so we're doing some Star Wars stuff there after we leave here and doing meeting up with some buddies, and we're going to go hopefully see some children while we're in costume and take some cool photos.
A lot of fun stuff.
A lot of fun stuff. So that'll be good. Other than that, we've been pretty good. On the new segment that we're doing a shout out to our not really featured YouTube channels, but our stuff, people that we follow and we like, who give us good Star Wars insight. And today I think we're recognizing Dash Star.
Yes.
So if you're not familiar with Dash Star, go check him out. Say a few words on Dash Star.
Dash Star, once again, really high production value, does a lot of deep research, including the fact that he'll cite the pages of the novelization and cross-reference it with the movies. So he's hoping you will call him on anything he says. Yeah, but be prepared.
Yeah, he also takes questions from his feed and from his YouTube channels and stuff like that. If you want anything answered, he'll do his best to try to answer it as best he can. The other thing, I think it was Star Wars HQ. He's another good guy. He's very into theories, like early theories about trailers that come out or speculations that come out. Again, he's like the rest of us. He's just a big fan. He loves to talk about it. Go check out his channel, Star Wars HQ. And I think that's what we're going to leave that at. Go check him out. We're just going to jump right into this. If it's your first time here, great. If you're a returning veteran, that's cool too. How this works is we've got a handful of Star Wars stories, and we're just going to simply run them down and talk about them. And I believe first up, we've got some spoilery information on The Last Jedi. You'll see a spoilery thing come up here in a little bit. So with that being said, we've got horses in space. Now, it's been confirmed through a source kind of on Star Wars Newsnet or MakingStarWars.net, one of those two. I can't remember which one it is. That they got some early photos kind of snapped on set of these horses, and I can't remember their names. They are called Falthiers. Anyway, so they're like giant horses, but they kind of look like whippets and like a bird.
Yeah, I've seen a drawing of it, and it's just like very
high
bizarre.
dollar gambling is what this is. It's kind of the theme of why they exist on this particular planet that's going to be introduced also in The Last Jedi. What are you guys' thoughts on underground gambling in the new film?
Well, I'm a little surprised because when I first saw this, I thought this would be a plot point for the Han Solo movie because it involves racing and gambling and all kinds of, things that only a scoundrel would participate in.
Or Watto.
Or Watto.
Okay. Or Watto.
But no, it's just the more I read about this, the more it sounded really, really cool. Just the idea that, again, spoiler alert, this could be a part of the movie where Finn is on a mission with the Resistance and he just needs a ride and a big chase ensues. So, yeah, it's a nice change of pacing. And I know that there was a mention of it rivaling the pod race scene in Phantom Menace, which I think is, won't call it universally agreed, but it is one of the better parts of that particular
The sound engineering in that whole scene, although it was a very long scene, overly long, it's great quality on the sound.
Yeah, definitely great quality. As for like
you into underground gambling as well?
Yeah. The neat thing is to see the underground gambling aspect in a, we keep thinking of the future as always being very sterile. Yeah. Very, I don't know, glass houses.
World of Tomorrow feel.
Yeah,
like
World of
Disney.
Tomorrow feel. But, it's basically creatures. I won't say humans are humans because there are other creatures. But creatures are creatures. And the fact that, people go, they would not be riding these space horses. And it's like, we still ride horses today. Yeah. For money and sport. So, and we could drive a car.
Violent sports sometimes.
Anytime we want. We could jump on a car and motorcycle. But what do we choose to do? We go to horse races. We have horse races.
We have horse
dog
races. Yep.
And here in Austin, we even have turtle races.
And a particular version of Chicken Bingo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. Sometimes a long game, but, you know.
Yeah, it depends on how much it eats.
Yeah.
You know, some chickens don't like all the attention, you know?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Now, since it involves animals and everything, I mean, how bizarre do you think this could get? You know, with the pod, it's still a machine.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm kind of looking at this like, kind of like how it kind of came out as like high society gambling.
Oh yeah, like Kentucky Derby.
Yeah. Besides, I mean, of course you think of the Kentucky Derby, you think of the most recent Triple Crown, but I want to see a galaxy far, far away's take. Like, I know people go to like these derbies with big hats and stuff like that. Do you think we'll get big hats in Star Wars?
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, like over the top, like who's the assistant to the Emperor, like in the prequels, where he has those crazy hats and stuff.
Maz Ameda?
Yeah, Masamida.
Who was just featured in Catalyst,
Yep.
which I borrowed from you and enjoyed very much.
Yes,
Very
yes.
prominent character.
Great hat.
Great hats?
So
Okay.
maybe we'll see some cool hats, and maybe we won't.
There you go.
But who knows? Go ahead.
I would also add that, one thing that I feel like has been missing from the last couple of Star Wars movies, like Force Awakens, Rogue One, and the prequels, has been, we've had a surplus of adorable droids, but
BB-8.
Yeah, like I love BB-8. Such a I want one. I want a BB-8.
They're actually coming out with a 2/3 scale BB-8 that is remote controlled, but its head will move 360 around the ball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna retail at Toys R Us for about $200.
Okay.
If you have cats, it'll be worth it.
But just think about that: 2/3 scale BB-8 that is almost fully functional as the actual on-screen droids.
Want it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, we have all these adorable droids, but it's been a while since, at least from my perspective, that Star Wars has had an awesome animal that you would like to see exist in real life.
Yeah, Gungans didn't really do it.
No, Gungans didn't do it. But
Tauntauns?
yeah.
Tauntauns, yeah, those are good.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Tauntauns.
Yeah. But,
Keep you warm when you cut them open.
but, I'm actually one of those people that enjoyed watching John Carter when it came out back in.
That'd be John Carter of Mars.
Well, it
Or
should
the
have been,
books, yeah.
Well, I'm not familiar with the books. I should read them, but I'm so behind on fiction.
Right.
I'm always on such a non-fiction kick. But the one thing I loved about John Carter, and I do agree it should have been called John Carter of Mars. It would have been much better to market that way.
Right?
Yeah, I don't get that. But what I loved most about that movie was his crazy Mars dog named Woola.
Right.
It was
That's
like
correct.
this, like 6 or 8-legged Mars dog, which could run super fast, and it was just the most adorable thing ever.
Yeah.
And so if Star Wars can get on to that kind of kick, maybe get people to like all these.
I just hope they don't
awesome
cheese it
animals.
up for little kids. I know George Lucas came out and said Star Wars is for kids.
Yeah.
But when you overdo it, you get Jar Jar, and if you underdo it, you get a vicious version of a Tauntaun. You need to find that balance of a Tauntaun in another movie.
Okay, considering what Mr. Lucas said, it's for kids and all that, I would point out the number one thing that kids love are dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Especially the carnivores. So
Yeah, that's true.
you can have a vicious Tauntaun. Believe me, the kids will love a vicious Tauntaun.
It'd be like what they want to do in Jurassic World to make those velociraptors part of the military program and have them go attack the enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
And how'd that work out for you? Yeah.
Well,
That all started with somebody going,
yeah, that's very true.
That's all it all starts.
Or it's like how they didn't know how to end the movie. Then Steven Spielberg realized, the T-Rex is the hero of the film, so let's bring him in.
Yeah, let's have the original T-Rex from the original films kill the mutant dinosaur that we created in a lab just for an attraction at a theme park. Why not?
Yeah. Why not? Now I'm thinking, since he's eating mutants, will he become Godzilla?
Maybe.
I didn't see the film, so
That would be an interesting plot point. You turn that into the next Godzilla franchise, and it's
Yeah.
actually the T-Rex from the original Jurassic Park.
Well, they're gonna do Godzilla versus King Kong, so maybe they're just gonna beat each other up, and then the T-Rex is gonna come and beat both of them.
Yeah, I don't know why I spaced on it, but yeah, you do that. They're doing that universe of the new King Kong versus the new Godzilla, and the new Godzilla is like 20 times larger than the old Godzilla, and they're doing the same thing with Kong. So that came out, and they're like, that's a giant Kong. We're off topic of Star Wars. That's what happens.
it's like, what the heck happened here?
James, you work at a movie theater, don't you?
I do,
Are you familiar with IMAX?
very much so.
All right, so the next story will be kind of your topic of choice. So there will be scenes in the upcoming Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi, that are actually going to be shot in IMAX. It's going to be the actual full 70mm IMAX. However, we haven't yet seen anything from those shots yet. But with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming out today, it's also coming out in IMAX. And in front of that IMAX movie, we're getting the Last Jedi trailer in IMAX. how much are you looking forward to seeing an IMAX, a real like production version of IMAX, on the IMAX screen, not just blown up from a 35 millimeter digital?
Very much so. Watching a movie filmed in IMAX, on that massive screen, is probably the best way to remind you of being a little kid sitting in a theater and looking up at the screen in front of you. Mm-hmm. So IMAX just provides a certain kind of perspective that, it's hard to exactly put into words, but it makes those movies look larger than life again. And you put that in the context of a Star Wars film. I mean, just all the wide shots of all the planets, and like even something as simple as just looking at a planet and all the space around it is going to look just majestic.
Yeah, it's gonna make that world just feel massive, even though it already is massive. It's gonna make you like almost immersive into it.
Yeah.
I've only seen like 2 or 3 films in IMAX, like that were actually IMAX. I don't even think Avatar was one of them.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I think I saw Despicable Me. One of those was in IMAX, and I saw it at the IMAX theater here in Austin. I can never pull myself away from Alamo or Flicks up the street here.
Booze.
You get booze, right?
Yeah.
So you go into an IMAX, you're going for the thrill, you're going for the experience of seeing, like you said, a giant's version of the movie that you already feeling that you're going to love, feeling like a little kid because that screen is so large, and being like completely surrounded by that film. I just sometimes can't pull myself to do it. What else is the appeal, do you think?
Well, I got started on watching movies in IMAX, and I'm kind of giving it away with my Batman shirt because Christopher Nolan.
You're a Batman
Yeah,
fan?
yeah.
Really?
You're like, who would have guessed it? My God. But no, it's like Christopher Nolan's the one who got me on the IMAX kick because, as far as I know, he was the first one to employ IMAX cameras while filming a major motion picture.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah, because back when they made The Dark Knight, they filmed at least a half hour of that movie using IMAX cameras, and I think they rented all but one IMAX camera available in the country.
Yeah, but did they break an IMAX camera?
They did break one of them, yeah.
So did Star Wars.
They did?
Yes, they broke one.
Like, do you know the circumstances? Like
Details have not emerged.
I was about to say, is this a competition now? Oh, you broke one. We plan to break 2.
I'm curious about that. Yeah,
It's like dropping the mic on a new
They're
level.
expensive.
like, sorry, the camera landed on Harrison Ford's foot.
That's how
Again.
He didn't break it. They didn't break it on that movie. They broke it in The Last Jedi. So.
Oh man.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta look it up.
How about you, Sean? Have you seen any movies in IMAX?
Actually, it's going to be really weird since I have, done documentary work and such. I've never seen a film in IMAX.
Oh.
And the thing is, nominally, I don't like people.
Yeah.
So, ironically, I study people, but I generally don't want to be around them when I'm in my own relaxing time.
True.
Well, you don't like interacting with people when it comes to watching a movie or hearing like what part of a film gets a laugh or which one people might get misty-eyed over. You don't like that?
He'll laugh at the death scene. So
Yeah, I'm one of the worst people to watch a movie with. It's not that I talk
so
or
would
anything.
but that's just me.
The best person to watch a movie with is my wife. She's really into ethos and pathos and how the storytelling comes together. I'm the person going, oh, that's going to leave a mark. So
I got a funny story about seeing a movie in the theater with crazy people, but we'll get to that in a second.
But no, I've never seen it, mainly because I've always had odd schedules. So for me, it's more of the story, not necessarily the technology. So I used to have still a black and white TV that I would play stuff on.
Awesome.
Because just for me, it's like, I want to see the story. You could even tell me how it ends. I don't care. I want to see how point A gets to point B.
Yeah.
I want to see the interaction in between. I don't necessarily want my own view clouded originally by being around anyone else, but I'm also someone who will watch a film obsessively multiple times. Then I will interact with other people. Yeah. So the cost point for going to IMAX to do that is kind of like,
That and the fact there's only like one in Austin. We look at
just a Bob Bullock. Another theater in town has kind of IMAX. I've been told it's maybe several feet shorter, so it's not official IMAX.
Right.
But it's up there, right?
That's the problem, I think, is that IMAX, although is spectacular and it looks fantastic and it makes you feel like you're part of the world that you're viewing on the screen, is that they're hard to find. And if you're not like in a big film town, I mean, Austin's on its way, but we just don't have that many places to go, and you go to look at tickets for the Bob Bullock, and it's like they're all sold out. It's like I can't get over there on my days off because the ticket's already gone. So what's the point of trying to look again?
You do have to plan ahead, but I think it's worth it.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it's hard to
worth
it's hard
the time,
to get.
worth the effort.
Yeah. Like anything in this day and age, if they're releasing tickets earlier and earlier for films. So if you're not keen on it, if you're not paying attention, by the time you're like, oh, that's right, it's going to IMAX, they're sold out for like a month and a half of the whole run while it's there in the IMAX theater. You're like, well, guess I'll try again next time, and next time turns into the next time turns into the next time, and you just forget about it.
Sometimes you can luck out though, and there won't be another movie qualifying for IMAX until like maybe a month after the one you want to see comes out.
That is true. Like there's not many films that are filmed in IMAX for IMAX that a Bob Bullock or an actual IMAX theater will actually choose to show on their screens. So they'll usually be the blown up version of a 35 millimeter or something similar. But quick funny story about seeing a movie in a theater with people that you don't know, because you never know what kind of experience you're going to get in those theaters. So back, I forget what Harry Potter, I think it was the second one. So Chamber of Secrets maybe? No. That was the second one. It was the one with the Whomping Willow that was a really big part of which I think it was the second one. Anyway, so I go to see the Harry Potter, like it was like the first week it was out. It wasn't like opening day, it was the first week. Me and the girl I was dating were there, and she was a big Harry Potter fan. She probably still is. And there's that scene where it's like almost the beginning of the movie, kind of like towards right after they get to Hogwarts on the flying car, and the car gets destroyed by the Whomping Willow. And there's the next scene with the Whomping Willow. It's springtime, and the bird's flying by, and then the Whomping Willow goes whoop-ah, and just like swats the bird away or kills it. Don't listen to your parents. It kills the bird. But at that exact moment when that Whomping Willow smacks that bird, there was a kid like 4 rows up from me that goes, "Ha ha ha! Stupid bird!" I was like, "That made it. That made it."
There we go.
That would have been me.
And you never know what kind of experience you're going to get at a theater, let alone in IMAX, which I think is a little bit more quiet because you get immersed into the world, and it's much more of a stadium seating where the next guy down is like heads in your chest, so you don't ever have that problem of So
see, on that note, it's a little tangential. I would usually go late at night because I like watching. For me, it's being there kind of alone.
It's like the 11:55 showing of a movie or whatever.
I made the mistake of watching the director's cut of The Exorcist. At like 11:45 showing. It was going to go.
So you were there for when it was actually in theaters the first time, for the director's cut.
No, this is the director's cut. I was too young for the. I am old. I'm not that old. But what's interesting is that this was kind of a rough around the edges neighborhood, and 2 groups of individuals were like sniping back at each other.
I've walked through something like that. I was like, don't kill me.
And about 20 minutes into the director's cut, they were like already talking about, I'm out of here, man. And they're like walking out.
Nothing brings people together quite like a horror movie.
They're like, we're done. We're out. They were not.
We may be bad, but we ain't that bad.
No, the sniping, the level of the antagonism went down as more intense the movie got until finally 2 of them went.
Yeah.
Like I said, nothing brings you closer together like a horror movie.
Well, even then, that's a good experience just to see that people are talking tough, but they can't handle The Exorcist.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like, you guys are like,
but for its time, man, even by today's standard, it's still a killer horror movie.
Oh, the director's cut is like, one of the lines I'm quoting, one of them said is, I did not need to see that. I did not need to see that.
But that was the whole vomiting and spinning the head.
No, there were worse stuff in the director's cut.
I didn't see the director's cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, so IMAX... if we can get to it, great. If not, we'll see it in regular theaters.
Yeah, but it'll definitely get the IMAX treatment. I mean, Force Awakens got that treatment. Rogue One did, and it seemed like every year there's a new record to boast about for an IMAX release. So it's definitely growing and at a healthy pace. And again, it's a nice way to watch the movie.
I'll have to take your word on it because I haven't been to an IMAX in forever.
No, I'll have to go. I mean, actually, I don't want to be critical of an experience that I haven't had.
Right. And the 1 or 2 times I've been, I can't remember. They're both great experiences. I loved being there. Just getting there because it's downtown. It's kind of a pain. But
they have decent parking though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they have the parking lot right across the street. Yeah. So, do you guys know John Boyega?
Oh, of course.
Finn FN2187.
The guy that had like the breathing problem in the helmet,
Yeah. He has confirmed himself to be in Episode 9. I don't know if he was supposed to, but he confirmed it in an interview actually he did at Celebration that somehow just now surfaced onto the interwebs. At least in my circle of internet activity, I ran across it. So he goes on to confirm that, yes, Finn will be in Episode 9. Yes, he has an adventure. And yes, he has a back problem from the nice slice of a lightsaber he got from Kylo Ren. Now, do you think, let's give this one to Sean, that it was an obvious thing that Finn was going to be back for Episode 9? Or were we kind of hoping maybe there's going to be like a plot twist and all the new heroes die?
I always thought he was coming back.
Yeah, I did too.
Long before any teaser trailer or any sizzle reel came out. Just because he survived. And it's like, come on. What was left of Vader? He was still kicking around.
That's true. That dude had...
And I was hoping chiropractic care would be better in the future. Apparently, it's not that much better.
I think where that comes from is the fact that no Jedi have been really... or aren't left, so they don't have a lot of like lightsaber wounds that people can actually know how to take care of.
They're out of practice.
They're out of practice. And funny story, the lady who was fixing Finn up was probably one of the last few people who could actually identify a lightsaber wound and treat it. Because I think that character was in the prequels as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's...
I think it was in Revenge of the Sith, though.
Okay.
As a young nurse or doctor, I could be wrong. I think that's what I read. I think that's what I remember seeing.
It's just...
So she would have known how to identify a lightsaber wound of some sort or something along those lines.
I'm just going off the fact that, they have cybernetics,
Yeah, Vader had tons of it.
He had tons of it. So, I always thought he was coming back because this is a realm, if you don't kill someone outright,
They'll come back.
they're going to come back. So you got to kill them outright, stomp on the remains.
You got to cut off the head. And even that's iffy in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's kind of questionable at time. I mean,
yes. C-3PO lost his head.
Or Darth Maul got cut in half.
And he came back with spider legs.
Yeah. Saul Guerrera. I mean, look at him.
Yeah, he got pretty beat up, and he had most of his limbs were fake. I like the parallel between him and Vader, though. They did that very well.
Yeah,
and the cybernetics was mostly Vader.
This is just the issue. One was on the light side, one was on the dark side. It wasn't necessarily
light for Guerrera, right in the middle. Right in the middle. He was a guerrilla fighter, so that's what he liked to do. But yeah, getting back to FN2187.
That traitor.
Do what?
The traitor.
That guy's a traitor.
Oh yeah, from TR8R.
Terrible janitor too. He was horrible at his job.
Sanitation. I mean, come on now. How do you go from sanitation to like on-world
shock trooper?
Yeah, trooper.
Yeah.
I don't read the comics. I'm sure you guys could fill us in, or at least fill me in, because I have no idea. But I know the Navy does it. Once you get like in the Navy, you get like a job as a dishwasher, but you're kind of trained in other things as a backup. So,
it's either that
it's a big
or
empire.
the running
or
joke.
First Order. Sorry.
The running joke of the old Empire movies was that due to Vader, there was always room for advancement.
Yeah, that's true.
So, maybe some of that was going on in the First Order.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't think about that.
How do you drive one of these things? Well, we need to promote somebody. What does this do?
Boom!
We need to promote somebody.
Yeah, like the line in Fifth Element, and there's a little bitty button on the bottom of the gun.
Oh, yeah.
Boom! Booze are really up. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, thoughts on Finn coming back?
Yeah, I expected him to. I do recall reading for Force Awakens that in the original script they were going to kill off Poe Dameron.
Yeah,
but they
didn't.
They liked him so much that they kept him.
Well, Oscar Isaac was like, I don't want to die in this one, because I think every movie he had been in, his character has died, and he's like, I don't want to die.
Oh, he's got the Sean Bean curse?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like, I don't want to die. And they're like, okay, because he was going to die in an X-Wing battle.
Yeah.
He was going to blow up the Starkiller base, and his ship gets disabled or something along those lines, and he was going to go out with Starkiller base.
Okay. See, I don't like that, because his droid and his X-Wing was BB-8.
BB-8, yeah.
That would have been killing BB-8, and don't do that.
Ooh,
yeah, that's your cash cow, man. You don't want to kill BB-8. There were so many awesome BB-8s at Celebration that were built by fans that were just outstanding, and actually 99% of them were 3D printed.
Really?
Yeah, and they just the outsides and the head and stuff, all that was 3D printed. And of course, the internal mechanisms obviously weren't, but it was impressive because there was never an actual blueprint for BB-8. They kind of built them as they went when they were developing the droid for screen use. And the BB-8 that was on the Force Awakens premiere at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, the BB-8 that came across the stage with the actually looked like BB-8 from the film was actually a fan-created prop.
What?
Yeah. So because they didn't have one that actually had the full wobbly head that actually stayed in place as the body moved, that was created by a fan, a robotics fan.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, something that you don't know, that fans help this franchise along. And on and Rogue One, you see Chopper, right? So you see Chopper running around the bay and on Yavin 4, and it's actually controlled by the Star Wars Droid Builders Club that they built. One of them.
Chopper.
He's from Rebels.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a droid in Rebels. Because every good Star Wars show or movie has a good droid.
Always need a good droid.
This one is
Why they need more animals.
That's right. So this one and Rebels happens to be Chopper, and it was actually controlled by a droid builder, a fan droid builder, who built it and built the robotics in it. And he's like, or I don't know if he built the robotics, but he was the one driving it in the movie. So you had an operator who was a fan in the movie. That's cool to me.
Well, that's one of the things.
They're getting the fans involved.
Lucas has always been very good about trying to reach out and bring in some of these outside sources.
Yeah, you don't want to think inside the box of them. You want to reach out to the people who are, obviously very creative, right? And maybe can think of a different way to do something versus someone who's confined in an office trying to figure this thing out on our deadline.
Yeah. The other day I was rewatching the Empire of Dreams documentary about the making of the original trilogy, and I liked how it covered how Lucasfilm splintered out into all these separate departments, like ILM, Skywalker Sound, and I think at one point they had Pixar for
THX.
Thank you. And THX. So
Pixar came out of Lucasfilms-ish.
Yeah. Kind of like
and Disney.
It was out there.
It is also they partnered with Disney early on as well. So,
but they've always done a good job of getting all the young filmmakers involved and trying out new technology and just making sure that it's.
That's where Ryan Johnson comes in. All the new directors are going to be on this upcoming project. Guy who did Rogue One again? Damn it.
Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards, and him and Ryan Johnson are like. They had some good big movies, but they were pretty small budgeted compared to like big blockbusters we think today, and they're getting these smaller directors that are just coming out and crushing it. And these like Rogue One was fantastic. I have high hopes and high dreams for episode 8, so I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I just want to throw out the directors of today are much more not just, you can't just use the term computer savvy. It's much more immersive technology. Even at the art school that I attended, the film studies, film studies used to be theory.
You still do that in film school.
You do, but then they go, all right, put that away. This is what we're really here for. And then all the booms come down, and all the big red lenses and the red cameras come out, and all these super high tech stuff. You almost need a computer science degree to be a director now.
That is a huge part of it, as well as a good storyteller.
Well, absolutely. You can't. It doesn't matter what the technology is if you don't have a good story. I'm not.
That's true.
I'm never bashing storytelling. That's always supposed to be the key. But it's just a level of education and finesse that these younger directors are bringing to a game.
I know we're off topic of Finn, but I kind of agree with you. And I also think it's comes off of the what you call it, the production companies like Disney or whoever you're working for doesn't always have their hand always in the pot with you, trying to tell you what you can and cannot do. They're giving a lot more freedoms to directors these days to go trying to do your vision to a point. I'm not saying it's across the board, but they're having this idea that maybe the smaller filmmakers, if we give them a chance to kind of do what they want and prove themselves, will relax on how much say we're gonna say in this movie. We're gonna let you as a director take control. That's how I see it. I mean, I know that's not true across the board for every director, because a lot of them get involved with big companies that they're like, no, you're going to do it this way because we want to make this much money, and this is how it's going to work. This is a story that we're going to tell off of your script that we're changing completely. Yeah, that happens, but Disney gives chances like to Ryan Johnson and Gareth Edwards. So
we're going back to the Empire of Dreams documentary that I was talking about. Speaking of filmmakers having control over their stories. Very famously, George Lucas did not want to kill off Han Solo.
That's true.
In Return of the Jedi, but
Harrison Ford wanted to go.
Yeah, exactly. But in the third movie, I think they will feel pressure to have someone sacrifice themselves. And Finn might be safe for now, but he is the guy who defected from the Empire. He is going to start doing good guy things. So if you do
Yay for technical difficulties, but we adapt and overcome. So
There we go.
You'll have to like get that little remember the old Indian chief head on the the.
I'll have a little thing. Don't worry,
Okay.
it'll be covered up nice and neatly. Yay!
Editing.
Anyway, so back to your story on the.
Well, I would only
Documentary for-
like I was saying, I would only warn y'all that in the third movie, that's when they're going to try to kill somebody, and Finn would have just about the right story arc as the, traitorous First Order stormtrooper who joins the good guys and then has to.
Gets killed by Phasma, maybe?
Yeah, has to, get
to be
killed
by
by somebody,
somebody.
or has to sacrifice himself somehow. I mean,
Him and Hux
watch
get
out.
into it, and
Ooh.
they kill each other in the battle.
I can dig that.
I can see. Well, that'd be very interesting.
So you read Catalyst, but did you?
No.
So there was.
The answer is probably no. I've read Catalyst, and
What book is it that was like that?
It was a book.
It was a book. Anyway, these two characters get into it, and I guess it was the Aftermath series, and one of them, they beat each other pretty much senseless, and one walks away but just, and the other one dies. So it'd be a nice fitting for the Finn story. But I kind of like where you're going with that. I like the story arc. That's good. That's good.
No, he would be perfect for it, as we were discussing during the technical repairs. The classic literature writing style is the person that betrays is the person that dies.
Also true.
You see this time and time again in very ancient tales all the way up to modern. Who did he betray? The First Order. He's trying to do good, but ultimately
They suck him back in. And
the rules of the storyline is that either sacrifice, which he probably will do because he is a good guy,
He'll sacrifice
but
himself
he can't
for a good
survive.
cause.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like if you went by the ancient rules of writing, and especially in movie making, you look at a betrayal character, they always end very badly.
Even in they explored that a little bit in 300. I guess it wasn't really a betrayal. It was more of the Hunchback.
yeah,
Right.
So
And he got the ultimate put-down.
he wanted to do well, but Leonidas was like, I don't want you, but I admire you. You can go on your way. But yeah, he got his comeuppance in the end by saying, "You will live forever," whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was the ultimate insult. He won't die gloriously in battle.
Yeah, and that's what all Spartans achieve. At least all Spartan warriors achieve.
Yeah,
even
and that
the
was the
women,
one thing he wanted to be was a Spartan.
Yeah.
So
We went from Finn to Spartans. I love it.
yeah, but now we're going to be talking to you directly about the fact that we know that there are new animated shorts coming.
Yes.
Star Wars Force Destiny.
Yep.
And these are from
Forces of Destiny.
Forces of Destiny. And let's see, from the minds of Lucasfilms comes a new animated series called Star Wars: The Forces of Destiny. It'll be a small, self-contained stories about our favorite leading ladies of Star Wars, including Hera, Sabine, Ahsoka, and I'm always mispronouncing Leia, Rey, Jyn, and Padme. All these characters will be voiced by the original voice cast and actors, which I think is super cool.
Yep.
These stories will fill in the question we have all been wondering. This will be on Star Wars YouTube channel, which is also very cool.
The shorts will be, yes.
Yeah, the shorts.
Yeah, the shorts will be.
This summer in 2017, and will be the Disney Channel with a 2-part special in the fall of 2017. With the releases of these short animated series, what is Disney Lucasfilm not telling us about the next full-length animated series? Because we've got word there is one coming.
So if you attended Celebration and you were able to catch the Rebels panel, or at least the animated panel with Dave Filoni, or you watched the live stream, whichever one you did, they're both good because you didn't really miss much on the live stream. Some of the artwork they showed on the big screen. I didn't get to go to the panel, so I'm right there with you for the people who watched the live stream. Yes, it was talked about from Dave Filoni that there is something coming. He, of course, didn't say what, when, why, how.
Smug. Sorry.
Dave Filoni is a master at the deflection of questions and
He's
just
only
giving
trying
you.
to build anticipation, man.
Oh yeah,
it's like-
no, and all Star Wars fans of hook, line, and sinker every single time you talk about a new animated series. Now, with concerning the Forces of Destiny shorts, I think that's fantastic because it gives us sort of this sort of not closure, but what happened in between certain time frames with characters. Like we don't, unless you read Catalyst, you don't really know what who Jyn Erso was, where she came from, her sort of thinking. And I think we get to see a little bit of it right before Rogue One starts, and how she became imprisoned, and small stories like that. Kind of how much of a fighter she is, and how much of her dad she actually is, and how Saw raised her as to be a fighter, which would be very cool. We've got more stories coming from Ahsoka, which is always a good thing. It'd be cool to see.
Got your new decoration up here, by the way.
Yeah. I got the Ahsoka signed by the artist from Celebration. Of course, I have Leia as well. We get to. I want to see the time after she leaves the Order, but before the Ahsoka novel. Some stories in between there would be very cool.
That'd be very, very cool.
Not stories in the book, but before the book. So that gives fans a little taste who don't go after the books, because not everybody reads the books. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just for people like me and some other super nerdy people, we want to know the little tidbits and the stories that go on. So I hope they do that. That'd be very cool. But something that I really am interested in is a story with Leia and Hera. It has been confirmed that Hera Syndulla, she was mentioned in Rogue One, and she's a big part of Rebels, survives all the way through the whole trilogy. She survives everything. So there's an adventure with Leia and Hera on the moon of Endor with the Ewoks, right before.
But not Chopper? Sorry.
Yeah, they didn't mention Chopper, but these are all leading lady stories. Yeah, Rex is there too, as always. That was also confirmed. So I'm kind of curious what Hera's doing there, what kind of shenanigans they're getting with Leia, and if sort of they're planning the battle tactics on Endor before the Empire arrives and before we actually get to see the kind of battle that we get in Return of the Jedi. So I'm really looking forward to those little snippets of tales, because they're going to be canon as well.
Right.
So, and again, all the voice actors are coming back. I hope they take the voice actor or voice actress who was in Rebels. Or Clone Wars, whichever one Leia was in, because the person who voiced Leia did a very good job as a young Carrie Fisher. So
what about you?
What about you? Got any thoughts on it?
I love this because I am one of those folks that needs to.
I forgot to talk about Padme. I forgot to talk about Padme.
I'm looking forward to Padme, especially because I want more of her.
Yeah.
From or just in general, because I was disappointed with the way her story arc ended in the prequels.
Just the prequels, not Clone Wars, the animated series.
I haven't started that one, so I like this is good news to me, just because it's more stuff for me to explore.
She's kind of a boss in the Clone Wars. She has
a lot of adventures in Clone Wars.
Yeah, with Anakin.
So
and on her own.
Yeah, so I just finished. Catalyst, as we were talking about earlier, and I love the continued backdrop of the Clone Wars.
Yes, that plays a lot
of the book. Yeah, I mean, you really get a better sense of the war footing that the Republic was on, and so to get more of the backstories from that time period and show what the prequels could have been, I would love to get more of that. So, just as someone who wants to see more of this stuff, I'm glad that now. At some point, I can binge watch Clone Wars and then finally get to Rebels, and then I'll have all this waiting for me at some point, and we get to see these great characters fleshed out more.
Yeah, and being someone who's watched all this series, and you're kind of working your way through Rebels and seen, I think, all of Clone Wars now.
Yes.
For someone like you to get a fresh eye and perspective on it, it's amazing and it's awesome, and I kind of wish that I was seeing that from that vision again.
Yeah.
But you will be impressed with Leia. They don't short her in any way from being that or not Leia, Padme.
Padme, yeah.
She has because she is, of course, the mother of Leia. There's a lot of fight in her as well, so you get to kind of see that a little bit through the Clone Wars and how stubborn she is, because we know Leia is very stubborn. There's a lot of that in Padme as well, and I can't wait. I'm kind of curious where they place Padme in this series, because we kind of saw a lot of her through the Clone Wars and the prequel movies. So where are they going to place her in this little animated shorts that they're going to do? I'm curious for the best. Like I don't want it to fail, and the animation style is a little different than what we're used to. It's kind of like the old Samurai Jack style. It's kind of like that. I can't wait. I can't wait for any of it.
But on the note for people with fresh eyes, since we do know that there's a new animated series coming along, some of the spoiler scuttlebutt here is that it may cover the years basically either before the school being started by Luke or directly after the collapse of his school.
I haven't heard that.
This is I just literally read it 20 minutes before I came over here. I was like, really? So this animated series may actually have aspects of Luke
Jedi School?
Skywalker and the Jedi School. Now that's purely scuttlebutt. It was just really new release. This could be disproved in 30 seconds, I'm sure. But when I heard that, it's like, oh, very interesting. They're returning back to Luke because they've covered Anakin.
Yep.
They're now going to do a movie with Kenobi, and of course he was in the
Rumored.
Clone Wars.
Rumored still, but confirmed-ish.
Something like that. And to see all these other characters from the other animated series being touched on, but then to have a series returning to the Skywalker,
that
directly.
I kind of like where that's going. That theory, I guess, is because we know The Last Jedi picks up immediately where Force Awakens ends, and Star Wars has never done that. There's always been like a gap, couple years, 10 years gap, 7 years gap. So there's a lot to fill in about Luke's journey to find Jedi relics, Jedi temples, and making his own school. It'd be interesting to do that because that way you could kind of see Ben Solo grow up
right
as an aspiring Jedi, and then see his sort of influence, I guess, by Snoke or whoever he's hearing through the Force turn him. So that'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Or maybe the aspect of knowing the fact that Vader was his ancestor or his grandfather, going, well, maybe there was something to him. I don't know. I'm curious. That's a good theory. I like it a lot.
It allows for a lot more exploration, but also keep in mind, one of the things they talked about the upcoming movie, and it kind of ties in back to the animated series, is that there may be 2 Force ghosts.
Yeah, you might get an Anakin, and you might get
a Vader because the kind of schizophrenic split in his personality when he became.
But that kind of is a weird issue because the dark side, they don't have Force ghosts. At least they've never explored Force ghosts before.
Yeah, but
they had Force visions with Yoda with Bane. I think it was Bane.
It was Bane.
Yeah,
I think so. But it was just the issue. Keep in mind there were no Force ghosts until Empire.
Also true. You had it wasn't a Force ghost. It was you heard Ben Kenobi telling Luke,
but then
use the Force, Luke.
But yeah, you just heard the voice. But I mean the actual ghost appearance.
Yeah, you didn't have that till Empire. So when he was talking to Yoda,
it's kind of one of the big theories kicking around in the new movie is obviously Kylo Ren has been talking to somebody.
Yes,
and I've been rewatching the clip. See, this is why I'm terrible to go to movies because I'm rewatching the clip of him talking to the mask.
I kind of like with that being said, and then the trailer for The Last Jedi, you have the shattered Kylo helmet as well.
And he's like, "Help me, finish what you started."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Who are you talking to?" Because the last time I checked, Anakin came back to the light. So who are you talking to? Or did they split him off?
See, there's a theory on that I actually kind of dig, is the fact that you have Snoke, we'll get to Snoke in a little bit, but who has been kind of manipulating Kylo, right? Maybe he's going maybe sounding like Vader, talking to what appears to be Vader talking to Kylo, and Kylo's like thinking it's Vader or somebody like that. But that way Snoke has a more grasp on Kylo Ren and stuff like that. I kind of like that theory.
Okay, well, then we should transition into, since this is Revenge of the Fifth.
Revenge of the Fifth. I know it's been kind of lighthearted through it, but now we're finally getting into the dark side. What is everybody's favorite theory on Snoke? Who is he? Where's he come from? What's he look like? Is he the tiny guy that we thought of like a couple shows back? That was like a
he has a height issue, so he has this like projector that makes.
So he's like a size of a peanut or whatever it was. I can't remember. There's been a couple shows.
Taking the Napoleon complex to the max.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm gonna start it with James. What is your favorite theory, or your most funny theory, or the most ridiculous theory of who Snoke is?
Well, I think I mentioned one a few weeks ago, which is the idea that. I saw this online that Snoke is actually a battered, broken, and now evil Mace Windu. I saw that.
That's a popular theory.
Yeah, but really? Really? Like, I know that Samuel L. Jackson wants Mace Windu to come back, but I don't think this is how they're going to do it.
In the 40th anniversary panel, they sort of had people chime in who couldn't be there. Yeah. Like Liam Neeson came in, and sort of Sam Jackson did his little video on his phone going, "Come on, man, just bring me back." So he wants to come back, and that'd be a hilarious way to bring him back. I don't think so. No. How about yours?
Mine, I'm going for the more French theory that he is possibly an ancient creature that's a Force sensitive
Someone completely new.
Completely new. I'm hoping for someone completely new because Lucas Arts story was, the old joke was this is an incestuous universe where everybody's related to everybody else.
Yeah, it's with cousins, brothers, sisters, former roommate.
That was a running joke. So I've always loved new characters. Plus, it fits upon, some of the books where the Emperor heard a voice from the fringe, on the outer reaches calling out to him. So he
that comes up in Thrawn.
Yeah. So I kind of like that aspect. So he's someone who is actually watching all these political movements, all these wars, really from the shadows, just waiting for the right time to either to reassert his presence like he had been there before, or he's just now going to step into the role that he's been waiting on for so long.
I'm kind of right there with you. I really hope it's a new character. Mainly because we don't want to shrink this universe any more than we already have, and I love the stories we've gotten out of, like making so and so knows this person from this person, and these two are related over here. That's cool, and I love it because they come up with really good stories, good comic books. But we're constantly making this world smaller by maybe having that Obi-Wan movie. We're focusing on a character we know. I loved Rogue One because it kind of brought us a whole bunch of new characters about a time frame we already knew. So no one was related in that film, which was cool. So I like that theory of a new character mainly because for a storytelling purpose, you could kind of open it up to more theories and more ideas and more writing. However, I do find the theory that comes up in I think it was Catalyst. Catalyst? No. I guess it was the Aftermath series. There is Galactus Rex.
Yeah.
I like that theory. There's only a big plot hole in it, that the fact that he dies.
Oh.
But they don't ever say he dies. He just lies lifeless on the floor. So
didn't cut his head off.
They didn't cut us exactly. So. And the fact that the other main lady in that movie, Sienna Ray, who was actually an Imperial admiral, takes the ship that he was going to take to get off Jakku, and leaves and goes to the unknown regions. So that kind of defunks that theory, although they could spin it in another way.
Right.
Yeah.
Which not really dead.
Right. They did that with Maul, so why can't they do that with a guy from a book? Right. So I like that theory, but not as much as I like a whole new character. I don't think he's Plagueis, mainly because we've had one mention of Plagueis in the movies, and it became very briefly in the prequels that nobody liked. so
yeah, maybe box office poison was the term,
but they've tiptoed around some of the stuff in the prequels and gotten away with it, and fans have loved it.
Yeah,
so.
They had a casual mention of a clone army in Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And of course, Jimmy Smits showed up in Rogue One.
Yeah, so. He was. He was. Dang, why am I forgetting his name?
Bail Organa.
Bail Organa. Yeah.
Bail Organa, Senator.
I don't know why I just blanked on it.
I don't know. He's been around,
Yeah, he's been in the story forever.
Been, Clone Wars, everything.
You did jog my memory, though, because I want to say there's a part in Catalyst where Tarkin is leading a military campaign to take on this one planet, and they did mention it, I think, as being a springboard to the far outer reaches of the galaxy.
Yeah, the unknown regions.
Yeah, so...
And they mentioned that whole bunch in Thrawn. Yeah. Like, they really are pushing that. They're leaving breadcrumbs, and big breadcrumbs in Thrawn, without the unknown regions of space. And Thrawn knows all of those pathways because he's from the unknown regions. And the reason, spoilers for you if you don't know Thrawn. I won't spoil the book, but I'll tell you about. Okay. I'll tell you about Thrawn.
As long as it's not in the book, yeah.
Well, there's things in the book. I can tell you about the character because the character's cool. But there's again, you want to know how to get from point A to point B. But I think you said that. But the reason Thrawn is such a popular character, and when we see him in Rebels, and he was a beloved character in the EU. Or the old canon Legends, they're not called EU, it's called Legends, is he becomes this admiral in the Imperial Navy. And like, how the hell did he become an admiral? The whole empire's whitewashed. How did this one blue guy who's an alien from the unknown regions of space become this grand admiral of this Imperial Navy? Well, he made a deal with the Emperor. I'm not going to tell you what deal that was, but that's how he gets ranked very, very fast, is because he knows things about the unknown regions of space. That's not a big part of the book, but that's just kind of that's a little tidbit of of why they're kind of pitching this. They mentioned in Aftermath, they mentioned Thrawn. They're mentioning it more and more in these books. I think where you're going with unknown character in the outer rim, past the outer rim, in the unknown regions is the best theory I think I've heard.
Well, once again, it's the
yeah,
the hope that it'll make the universe seem as vast as the universe really is.
Yeah. We don't want to keep concentrating going back to Jakku or to Tatooine.
Why do people keep wanting to go back to Jakku?
Exactly. I don't go back to Jakku.
Nothing there. And
This desert and death.
sand.
And as we know, Skywalkers don't like sand.
So, yeah,
That's why Rey's not a Skywalker.
yeah, she likes sand.
She doesn't care about it.
It's just adding, a lot more depth, and also, it would be kind of like a shock to everyone because basically, as Star Wars fans, we tend to be myopic on this is what's happening in this galaxy.
Yeah.
All right. And then there's something larger looming around the corner that is like.
It's like our own solar system. Like, we know a lot about our inner workings of our solar system. As soon as we get past our galaxy, we're like, what's out there? What is it? We have this fascinating going on beyond what we know.
Yeah.
And that translates very well over to Star Wars. Like, you have the core worlds and the mid-rim and the outer rim. And then that's sort of what we know as Star Wars. But there's, like in real life, it just keeps on going and going and going and going.
So it's just the war and all the politics keeps the focus.
Yeah, and the core world. Yeah, exactly. The planets that we know, Coruscant,
But
Jakku.
like in real life, some of us who casually follow space news, we got so excited when the Voyager probe went beyond the terminal shock. It just keeps going and going.
When I left to come home from Florida, it was right when is it the Kennedy Space Center that's in Florida?
Yes.
They were launching a rocket the day I left.
Oh, cool.
And I was really hoping to see it because we were right on a path to see it if they would launch on time. And I think because when we took off the runway, we actually ended up turning and going in the other way and we missed it.
Yeah.
But it launched the same time our plane took off.
Nice.
So I can say I was launched the same time as that rocket. Because I had the countdown on the phone because the lady next to me was like, I guess, really into it. She's like, oh, they're launching the rocket like right now. Right when we were like taxiing away to get in the runway. I was like, it was cool.
That's what Monty does for his spare time. He'll actually travel and watch the actual launches.
He's done it a couple times at least.
Rockets and SpaceX stuff too.
Yeah. Well, luckily with SpaceX, we get a lot of that here in Texas. So it's definitely, of course, they've expanded it and gone other places now. But so. Anyway, that's everyone's Snoke theories. Yes, you got any more funny ones?
I'm hoping he's a bigger, badder threat from the edge of the universe.
Yep.
Or there's also the card to play that knows that there's a bigger, badder threat to the universe
than him,
and
he wants to step in and take it.
Or he wants to unify the core planets against the bigger, badder threat that's coming. That's a great way to end a civil war.
It is
because technically all this has been one long civil war. Yeah,
that's very true. You have the resistance. Now you have the resistance versus the First Order. Before that, you had the rebellion versus the Imperial forces, and then before that, you had yet another faction of the Empire. Before that, you had yet another version of the Empire. But the Empire's been going on and on and on, regardless of what they call themselves.
It's like the 100 Years' War,
It's like thousands and thousands of years war, because the Old Republic took place like 4,000 years before the prequels, and even they had an empire and a resistance.
Yeah.
So
seem a theme with the people that live in this neck of the woods.
Yeah, right. It's exactly
you're
correct.
making it sound a little too much like the Matrix sequels, where everything is just constantly repeating itself.
That's what humans do, though. Even from far, far away, we have this tendency to repeat ourselves every so often, because we don't remember, we don't learn from the previous generation, because those books get lost.
Those who forget the past are forced to relive it,
which apparently we have no problem doing. So
you say World War I,
World War II. We're on the never mind.
Yeah,
this is a Star Wars show. Anyway, real quick, I love the theory of the guy who the stormtrooper in New Hope who hits his head on the door that doesn't go all the way up, and they said this. People like circle, and they circle the helmet being knocked in the door, and they circle the scar on Snoke's face. Like, it's that guy.
That's one of the more bizarre ones.
I love that one, and I know it's like that's obviously not true, but I laugh every time I see it. Every time.
That'd be hilarious. It's like, you know how I got. You want to know how I got these scars?
You know how I got these scars? I'll tell you. I was a stormtrooper on the Death Star.
Well, the Joker did disguise himself as a police officer in
The
Dark Knight, so he could disguise himself as a stormtrooper too.
Yeah. Snoke is the Joker. You heard it here first, folks. It'll happen.
That's why he has the parlor, the white skin.
Yeah, that's why he talks and so low sometimes and higher some other times because he can't quite get that inflection right, just like the Joker. Mark Hamill's Joker. We can tie it all together. It's Mark Hamill. It's really Mark Hamill's Joker. That's what it is.
Wow, now I just have this weird thing. What has Luke been doing all these years? He's been posing as Snoke. That's what
why the Jedi must end, because it's like, don't want to give up my throne. Oh, man.
Man, I got it.
I'm liking
sweet.
this. Really liking this.
You heard it here first, folks. That's what's going to happen. We just ruined episode 8 for you. Sorry.
Possibly 9.
But still watch it on IMAX.
So good circular there.
Yeah,
That was good.
Plan, yeah.
That was good. Well, I believe that is actually all the time we have, considering that we had a technical difficulty right in the middle of the run. But hey, you won't see it due to editing. Hey, you'll probably see something. Anyway. Well, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you got to do to make this channel spread. And don't forget, we're also still giving away this guy. We've had some new subscribers, but like and comment so you can tell me who you are so I can send it to you. Yay, I need information.
Information is key.
Yep. So this, and who knows, I might throw in a 40th anniversary patch that I got at Celebration just for you.
Very nice.
So, remember, subscribe, share, comment. We need those things to make this channel grow. We got some surprises coming, I'm sure. At least I got some ideas of what we're going to do. Down there, we got James Armstrong. Right and smack in the middle, we've got Sean Sharp. My name is James Waddington, and we'll see you guys next week. Revenge of the 5th. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.